All right, let's do this. So this is definitely a video I wasn't planning on making anytime soon. But yeah, here we are. We got to do this. It's actually a few days. What was it? The January 5th or 6th or 7th? I don't even know anymore. But I wasn't putting this off. I just honestly didn't know how to make this video. So anyways, here we go. I've been doing YouTube for at least 3 years now. I think we just passed 3 years a couple months ago. I'm having a blast doing it. You know, expectations have certainly, I didn't really know what to expect, but I've learned a lot doing it. I feel like grown a lot as a channel, like I'm more comfortable talking, gotten way better at editing, considering I didn't know how to at all when I first started. So many things, but what I learned very early on is that my channel's not meant to be successful on YouTube. I don't fit the algorithm at all. I do first of all, I'm old and boring and I'm not relevant. I know that. I'm okay with that. I do the channel with my son a lot, and I don't think that's like a big popular thing for a lot of video game YouTube. I don't put out videos on a regular basis. I don't really follow like trends, like talking about, you know, the new hot topic or drama, or, you know, like I feel like it like always cycles. Like all of a sudden I see all these videos about the same thing, and I can see they're getting a lot of views, but I don't really watch them. And I think because I don't follow that, it doesn't work to my advantage. I think not putting out videos on a regular basis, which, you know, guys, for me, this is just a hobby. It's all it can be. I work more than full time. I've got 3 kids that are very active in sports and whatever. So, you know, I was just really happy with the way things were going. That I was getting better and I was having fun doing it. That was the most important thing to me. And I don't remember how many subs I started off with in 2024. But in my head, I remember thinking, I'm like, okay, if I can get to 800 this year, that's like a lot of growth. That's really good. And, you know, when YouTubers always say, oh, my goal is to hit this number, I understand what they're saying because I do YouTube too. But at the same time, you can't control that. You can have an amazing video and it doesn't mean you're going to get any more subs. So that's how it goes. Anyways, I thought 800, you know, that's like long stretch goal. If, you know, once again, you can't control that, but we all do it. Every YouTuber in their head has, you know, a goal. But anyways, on New Year's Eve, like a friggin' Christmas movie, Hallmark Christmas movie or something like that, on New Year's Eve, we hit 1,000 subscribers, which is just, it blew me away. It actually made my New Year's Eve. I was having a great New Year's Eve anyway, spending time with my wife, having some drinks. But when I saw that number hit, man, I don't know, it was just a very special feeling for me because it's not something I expected to happen anytime soon. I was kind of like, I'm like, maybe by the end of 2025, we'll see. But the fact that it grew so much last year, it does make you feel good as a content creator, that there's like that many people that are willing to subscribe. Because even though I watch a lot of YouTube channels and I subscribe to a lot, when they're like, oh, it costs you nothing to subscribe, I think there's always, as a viewer, there's always that, well, I don't want to have too many subscriptions because I don't want to have to like, you know, scroll through to find one I want, the, you know, channel I wanted to listen to, or, you know, various other reasons. I think people try to curate their list as well. And people are busy. This is you know, for most people, something that, you know, they're just throwing on in the background to occupy their time when they're, you know, doing other activities. I know for me, there's certain channels I love to put on when I'm doing housework or dishes or laundry or stuff. I can put the headphones in, and as I'm running around the house, I can listen to them because I know I'm not going to be able to watch the whole time. So I don't know. YouTube is just like a huge, big thing, and there's so many dynamic parts to it that, to me, for somebody like me, this channel to hit 1,000 subs, that just means the world. I really thank you guys so much. All 1,000 plus of you now. And, you know, everyone else that has just viewed the channel and helped promote it a little bit in the algorithm. It's just a wonderful feeling as a normal person, you know, to reach that level of success. So on top of that, I guess what I kind of want to say for my goals for this year, I don't care, honestly, about any more subscriber growth. Of course, I will be happy for any new sub I get ever. It's always a good feeling when you see the sub count go up. But having a channel that reached 1,000 subscribers, that just is awesome. So any other growth is great, but really my goals are to put out more consistent videos. And that's not for the algorithm, that's for myself. There were so many videos in the past I wanted to make, but I'm so busy and tired, and I'm like, I'll get to it eventually. Guess what? Never got to it. So I just want to make those videos. I want to talk about the things I want to talk about. And on top of that, get better at editing. I want to add more into it, make the videos better for the people that do watch them. I have an Elgato capture card, and way back a long time ago on the channel, I used to film some gameplay and edit it in, my own gameplay, or I streamed a couple times, but I cleaned my basement when I did the room tour like a month ago, and I can't find the friggin' cords to hook it up. So I got to sort this out. I want to find those. I want to be able to do better videos, and I want to stream sometimes. I love, there's a couple streamers I've gotten to know a little bit that just do really chill streams, and it's just, 3, 4, sometimes 6 or 7 people that show up. But, a couple people chatting in the chat, and then with the guys that are doing it, and it's just a really fun time. Like, I'm getting older, I'm at home at night, I'm not going out, so at least I get to interact with other adults and watch somebody play a video game when I'm too tired to play. So yeah, I would like to get to that point this year, do more content, just get more involved, put a little more energy into the channel. But that's really it. Like, I don't necessarily care if nobody else subbed, but I'm still getting the people that are subbed the same number of views, and people like the videos I put out. I'm totally fine with that. That's great. If I hit like a crazy number this year, I don't even know what would be crazy at this point, like 1,500, that'd be insane. I mean, more, that'd be awesome. I'll get super giddy, super giddy now. And it would be wonderful, but we'll see how it goes. Either way, I just want to have fun doing this. That's like my primary goal. And yeah, we'll go from there. Other than that, I just want to kind of recap 2024, the games I played real quick. Hopefully I won't go too long on that. And just so I can kind of like put 2024 behind and start. I don't want to say anything yet, but I've already beaten a game this year, and it's only, what is the date today? I think it's the 6th or 7th or 8th. It's somewhere in there. But I've already beaten a game, which is insane. Yes, it was a really short game, and I'm already about 20 to somewhere between 20 and 25% of the way through Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So I'm trying to play games this year too. I'm trying to beat more. I played a lot last year, but a lot of retro stuff. I always ended up playing the Genesis, a little bit of regular Nintendo. Just always got sidetracked with old retro games because they're so much faster to just plug in and play for a little while when I don't have a long time. So I got sucked into those. Anyways, I want to talk about some of the games I played in 2024 and kind of where I'm, at with that. The first one that I actually beat at the beginning of the year last year is Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition. That's way too long of a name for any video game. I played it on the Switch, and it's gonna sound crazy, but this is the first Dragon Quest game I think I've ever played. I can't remember ever playing one. I mean, minus the original Dragon Warrior on the on the Nintendo, but I never played any of on the DS or 3DS, or I know there's like one on PlayStation 2. I haven't played that one. I just knew that it was a more traditional RPG, and boy was it. Every time I got into a boss fight that I was having a hard time with, and I would try to like switch the team members out or a different strategy, I would still lose over and over again until I finally backed out. I would, go back to another area, grind a little bit, level up like sometimes just 3 or 4, some 5 levels, whatever, and go back and just destroy the boss. It went from like I couldn't do it no matter what to all of a sudden it was super easy and I just plowed through it. So it's a very, just grindy RPG, which if I was younger, I would have been all about it. If I had all the free time, I would have been like, yeah, I'll just grind until all my characters are 99 and I have every piece of equipment. That's how I used to be, and back in my days. But as an adult, it was just like very difficult to be like, I feel like I'm wasting time grinding. And I think the biggest criticism I had of it that really prevented me from like drawing me in deeper is just the design of the characters and the monsters. And before anyone gets upset, I know that it's, you know, comes from a long lineage of that traditional art style from one particular artist that created that whole look. I get it. But when a monster like the slimes is fine. The intro monsters and all, like a lot of RPGs are not like as intimidating or scary. I get it. But when you're fighting like a dragon and they're kind of like googly / cross-eyed and they just look a little derpy, it's just hard to like get drawn in like, oh yeah, I'm fighting a dragon. Like this is an intense fight. Same thing with the cast. I really did like the cast themselves. I like the bright colors and everything, but I think it was the faces more than anything. They just looked too cartoony, I guess, in a way, and I'm sorry if anyone gets mad by that. It was a good game. It just never drew me in that same way. And I feel like my biggest defense in that, and anyone that's going to say anything, is they knew that where they were at with the faces. I believe that, because when they wanted a character to look more mature, more sexy, I'm talking about Jade, they drew her eyes very different, made her face look more mature. And I know they knew why they were doing that. It was a very specific choice that they made because they wanted that character to stand out in that way. That's it. I still loved it. Very good game. I did love all the characters. They had great stories. Sylvando was an amazing story on him. Eric too, I liked a lot. The sisters were cool. I did like all the characters and their stories. I just had some issues with it. Okay, next. This actually, before I played a couple games at the end of the year, I kid you not, was my game of the year. And it's an indie game. It's called Road 96. And if I were a better gamer or a YouTuber, I would tell you background about the game right now. I don't know what it is, so I can't say anything. All I know is I do know it's an indie game. And there is a lot of jank. I mean, and I 100% a lot of jank. When you're controlling the character, playing some of the mini games, or just moving around, it doesn't handle great. But that's not the point of the game. You could still get through all the mini games. I think I beat every single one of them the first try. But it was just frustrating because it didn't handle as smoothly as I wanted, nor moving the character around the open world. But I would actually describe this game as more of a, not a visual novel, like an action novel. Like you're involved in the story. And what's the best part about this game is that there are a lot of choices that you make. And the choices affect what happens next in the story. And you meet certain characters and you get to know them a little bit. And then when you play as a different protagonist, because you keep switching between these runaway teenagers trying to get to the border to escape this country, you'll run into some of the same characters, and that furthers those character stories. Those are the kind of the characters you're actually developing, which was kind of genius. And depending on what answers you picked, it just affected everything. It was one of those games when I stopped playing and I was like laying in bed or doing something else. I would think about the game. I would think, what if I would have answered this way or chose to do this action instead? So that the impact of the choices or the answers you give really have an impact on the story. And I just thought that was fantastic. It was one of those games that you just want it to be like, you'd finish a route with one of the teenagers and then you're like, okay, I want to play one more just to see what else is going to happen. And there's some of it's brutal consequences. I did something one time and I got shot and killed. And then it just like takes you back to the start menu and you pick another teenager. I'm like, holy crap, that's kind of, very consequential. So if you've never heard of this, or if you did, but you kind of passed it up, I would strongly urge you, when you have some free time and you're in a mood for like, not really a slow game, but a slower pace, but more cerebral, it's more about thinking about it. I highly recommend this. The overall story about what's going on in this country, that fictitious country in this game, is really well done. You really want to learn more about it. And there's always that overwhelming sense of like dread. Like you never really feel comfortable with the character you are. And the music's great. It does a great job in creating that atmosphere, the environment. So highly recommend Road 96. Next one, if you watch this channel at all, you probably know I'm a big Persona, S&T, Atlas fan. Just absolutely love the game. So I did play Persona 3 Reload, or as I call it, Persona 3 Easy Mode. I don't really have a lot to say about this one, guys. I do think it's the best way to play Persona 3. I played Fez on PS2. That one definitely has like a darker, more boding atmosphere, which I love. But I absolutely hate not being able to control my whole party in any RPG. And I know the reasons why they did that in Persona 3 is, oh, it's to make you feel like, you know, they're on your team, but, you know, they're whatever. I've watched the videos, I've listened to the interviews with the, you know, Atlas team, and, you know, it's their choice, it's their game, it's their choice, but I hate it. I hate it, I hate it. There were certain character members in the original Fez I could not use at all. Like, I couldn't use Mitsuru because I couldn't stand Marin Karen, and how much she cast that drove me nuts. In this game, all the characters are overpowered, especially Yukari. If you don't use Yukari in this game, I guess if you want to give yourself a challenge, don't use Yukari. If you just want to breeze through it, just throw her on your team. But, like the third G attacks, all that stuff just, like, makes the game way too easy. And the other thing is, if you have never played Persona, any of them, or 3 or 4, I'm not a big fan of procedurally generated floors. It just, to me, I know there's no, like, sense in exploring because there's no hidden compartments or doorways or secrets to find a special piece of armor or a secret boss or anything. I will say that the fact they added those, it's been a while now, guys, monad doors, the red doors, that had some more challenging enemies in it, that gave you reward of better equipment. That was, I did appreciate that they tried to add more stuff to the floors. And the idea of Tartarus as a whole, like if you just think about it in the larger context, that's a really cool idea. This tower that appears in the middle of the night that when everyone else is, you know, asleep or in, you know, unconscious in coffins or whatever it is, that this only a select few people can see and go inside and explore. I just wish that there was more intelligent design to the tower. It just gets really boring to me. But yeah, it's still, if you haven't played Persona 3, don't go back to the PS2. Just play this one. It is by far the best way to play it. They did an amazing job with the updated art style and everything like that. But I don't want to go on that one too long. Then I did play this game. I am terrible at Souls games. Terrible. But I did play Elden Ring, and I beat it with the help of other people, meaning I pulled them into my world and they beat it for me. But I'm still taking credit for it because I got to the end. But it has kind of inspired me a little bit to try more Souls-like games. And this one was supposed to be easier, and it is. It's easier than Souls, but it's Steel Rising. I think I got somewhere between a third and halfway through the game, and I was in a tough spot, and the game, I had a fatal glitch, and it took me back to the title screen, and I lost a ton of progress. And that bummed me out, because I'm never comfortable playing this game. I was like on this, you know, edge of my seat. I'm like clinched up. It's just, I like to challenge myself, and I think it makes me a better gamer, but it was too much. It was too intense that I want to feel more comfortable playing a game. I'm just so bad at them. But I was making progress. Every time I got stuck, I would just like, you know, kind of like put it down for a day and go back to it and try a boss again, and I'd be able to beat it. I know this one boss I fought took me so many tries, and I finally did, for whatever reason, one run, I just dominated him, and I felt so good afterwards. But it is a good game. There's some glitches where, you know, it like would freeze the game and whatever, and then I had that one fatal one that backed me all the way out, and that was a bummer. But it looks cool. I like the setting. It was like a alternative French Revolution where there's, you know, the robots that you're playing as. Very cool idea. And the combat was fun and not as hard as the few Souls games I've played. Okay, then we're kind of skipping ahead here to towards the end of the year. Just 3 more games. This one blew me out of the water. Not expecting it at all. I knew about it and I'm like, okay, it looks like a fun, easier game to play that maybe this chump can get through. But I did not expect it to become one of my favorite platformers of all time, and it's Astrobot. I'm not going to droll on about this game. Hopefully everyone's heard about it by now, but it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter if you don't have a kid to play it with. Don't use that as an excuse not to play it. The level design was amazing. You actually start to care about this little robot. It does an amazing job of you know, showing homage to other PlayStation franchises and the history of PlayStation. You could tell the developers, excuse me, of that game really, really put their heart and soul into it and the passion. And it really shows through every step of the way of that game. I loved it so much. Then I started playing Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. And I was very excited to finally have a game where we could play Zelda. You know, the series is called Legend of Zelda, and she's not even in it half the time. So it was great to get to play as her, but I just felt like they made her so weak. It was kind of off-putting. I did like the dungeon design, and the concept is interesting, but they just made her so weak, and I absolutely hated the menu system to scroll through to find the right echo that you wanted. Drove me nuts. Like, why couldn't they design it better? Like, have tabs where it's the building blocks or tabs where it's the monsters or whatever. Not a bad game at all. Of course, you know, it's Nintendo made, Nintendo published. They're not going to let a Legend of Zelda game be bad by any means. But this is just like kind of middle of the road as far as Legend of Zelda games go. Just so-so. And then the last game I played of the year, this was kind of a heartbreaker for me. It's Metaphor ReFantazio, and I gotta tell you, it lived up to the hype for me, big time. I was so happy with the game, with the characters, the art direction. Music was definitely different, but it was interesting. It wasn't bad, not my favorite in the, you know, by Atlas, but, you know, certainly above average. The world they created to me was just like absolutely phenomenal. To have the, you know, an Atlas team finally do like a fantasy setting, that's very cool. I got all the way to the end of the game, the final boss, and I think I just played the game wrong the whole time. And I didn't have any items to replenish my spell points. And I got locked on the last boss. And I have like a save like 10 hours before that, but I don't even know if that's going to be enough to really do it the right way. Anyways, I think I played the game wrong from the beginning, so it's going to kind of go on, I don't even want to say my backlog, but my log of shame. It's a game I'm definitely going to go back to now that I know how to play it right and level up right and things I should have done differently. I know I can get through it much faster than the like 82 hours I played it or whatever. But yeah, for now, it's kind of like my Great White Buffalo game.
Great White Buffalo. Yeah.
The Great what?
Great White Buffalo.
I'm going to come back though, because if you haven't played it and you like RPGs, definitely worth playing this one for sure. I'm not going to go more because I do want to make a dedicated video kind of going more in depth about everything about my thoughts of the game. That's one of my goals for next year too, is some of the games that I'm really into, I want to discuss more in depth. So yeah, that's really it. So anyways, for the end of the video, guys, once again, a really heartfelt thank you so much. I didn't expect to get to 1,000 subs anytime soon. And I know for some people that's like almost meaningless. That doesn't, they're gonna look at that and be like, 1,000's nothing. For me, guys, 1,000's like everything. It just blows me away to think like I have 1,000 people that think the channel's good enough to sub to, because there's way better channels out there. And I promise not to let the power of having 1,000 subs go to my head. I will stay centered. I will stay both feet on the ground. I really hope that this is a really fun year. That's just what I want. That's my goal. I want to have fun. If nothing else happens, or you know, hopefully nothing bad happens, then so be it. If we can have fun and you know, just engagement, and yeah, that's it. That's all I really want. So thank you guys so much for, you know, everyone that's watched the channel for the last 3 years, everybody that's subbed and just, you know, been here to support me. I appreciate it so much. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Later.